Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Town Center Committee on February 14th, 2020, in the Matthew Thornton Meeting Room. The meeting will now come to order. I'm going to remind everybody to turn on their microphones so the little green light shows and you can be heard, hopefully heard. We had a little problem last night. Our first order of business is approval of two sets of minutes. We have the minutes of October 18th and the minutes of December the 6th. We did not do either of those at our last meeting, and which I will now ask for an approval or a motion to approve. Karen?
I don't have the October minutes.
Well, let's see. I know I made a couple here you go.
Thank you.
Okay. They go a ways back, and we deferred acting on them last time because we didn't have enough people who had been there, I guess. So I'll take a minute and let you all read those and see that you agree with what's in there. Those minutes came out just before the announcement that we got from the GIAC announcing the delay of the Sahegan River Trail. Hello, Bill. Bill Cummings is now joining the committee. Bill, we're in the process of approving the minutes of October 18th and December 6th. Everyone's kind of looking at them, and you ready? Is that what
Yes, I am.
That's what you're
I am.
signifying?
I am, but
Okay.
I'm going to abstain from the December 6th because I was not here.
Sure. Well, let's make them separate then. Let's do the October 18th. If you committee's ready, I'll entertain a motion.
So
You- Moved for October 18th to approve. Seconded by Finley. Okay, got that, Karen?
I
Karen
did.
has agreed to take notes for our meeting and help me with the minutes. All those in favor of the motion to approve the 18th, 19th? Thank you. All opposed? Any opposed? Any opposed? All were in favor,
Nope,
right?
abstaining.
Abstention.
Oh, okay, yes. Kyle Fox abstains and Bill Wilkes abstains. Our next set of minutes is the December 6th meeting.
I have one change to recommend, Nelson.
Yes, indeed.
On the top of page 2, grant award was made in 2005, should be 2015.
First sentence.
Top of page 2.
Yeah, it should have been 215. Thank you for that correction. Seems like 2005.
Feels like it.
It's flying.
Right. Okay.
Nelson,
Finley.
it's not a big deal, but it has me as having adjourned that meeting, and for whatever reason, I've never moved to adjourn a meeting, so I know I didn't do that. No, and now now I won't do it, because I've been doing this for so many years, and I can't let it change tradition, so. I don't know who it was, but,
Let me see, adjourn.
and you don't have to necessarily change it, I just know that I never did that.
So noted. We'll make a note in the minutes that Finley said, I don't know how we can ever recover that. We can go to the,
It's not,
We
you can leave me there if you'd like, I just know it wasn't me.
we could go to the, if it was important, I would go to the minute. We have these on record. You know,
Right.
all this gets filmed, gets replayed, reproduced, and it's filed with the town. And it's one of the official committees of the town that gets filed.
Right,
So-
no, I've watched through meetings on video, and I don't want you to have to do that,
Yeah.
so we're all good.
Okay, thank you, Finley. Any other comments on the minutes of December the 6th? Any desire to approve those minutes with the corrections so noted?
Make the motion.
Okay, Kyle made a motion, Finley seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining. Abstaining, Wilkes and Cummings are abstaining. Okay, good. Paperwork over with. Old business. First thing to talk about, I think, is our revised membership since our last meeting. At that time, we talked about my meetings that I had held with the town council, that the town council was amenable to changing our membership and is also amenable to putting some money in the budget for some of the projects in the town center plan. And they agreed that we should have a representative from Public Works. Kyle has volunteered to do that. We're very fortunate to have the director of Public Works here on our committee. And so he is now an official member, and it's been approved by the town council. The change to our charter has been approved to town council. If anyone would like a copy of that, I have it here. I have a couple extra copies. I'll give them to you after the meeting if you want to see that. But that's just, that's a change, and I think will make a big improvement in helping us get some progress on our goals of implementing the town center committee's recommendation, the ITRAC recommendations. So, any questions or comments on that? Kyle, thank you for,
Happy to be here.
all right, well, we're happy to have you. So the next order of business that I put on the agenda was the status of the Sauhegan River Trail. Now, as you know, it was originally scheduled for construction this summer, and the Governor's Council, Advisory Council, whatever the name of the GCAC,
Guess it.
CAC, has decided that they can't afford it, that there isn't enough money in the projects to do it, so they have rearranged the priorities of things and put the Sauhegan River Trail out into 2024. And that was just disaster as far as we're concerned. This is the thing we've been working for so long. In talking with the town council, that sort of triggered, well, the town maybe ought to do something along here and make some progress on this master plan that we have. So, the design of the project is continuing. It's just there's no construction, as I understand it. And Kyle has brought with him, I see a big roll of paper there, and he's got a design picture that we can all look at. I think they're not open to any criticism or comments, but they've done it anyway. They've got a design, and Kyle, maybe you'd like to take over and show this to the committee, and we can't show it on the TV, but we
Right.
can take a few minutes here among ourselves.
Thanks, Nelson. I'm not sure what the best method of that is.
Yeah.
Maybe after the meeting, if people want to look at the plans, that might be
Yeah.
more a better way to proceed with the,
Yeah,
the meeting
since,
format,
since we
rather
have
than
no,
huddling around a table while we're on TV.
yeah,
But,
that's right, yeah,
True,
sure.
But yeah, I'd be happy to give an update on the project.
Yeah, please do.
So funding-wise, as you mentioned, Nelson, the state is currently in the process of updating the 10-year plan. That's done every 2 years. And through the process, one of the requirements of the department is to fiscally constrain the plan. So all of the projects in the plan have to have a funding source and an accurate estimate. So when they were going through the process this year, they determined that by fiscal years, there wasn't enough money to fund some of the TAP projects. So a number of them got pushed back for their construction dates. We were affected, Nashua, I'm sure other communities were as well. So we spoke about that at the Gasset hearings that happened late in the fall, and as did other communities. So the plan has not been finalized yet, but we don't expect that to change. The message we've received from the department is go ahead, get the designs completed, and what they'll do, once the designs are fully complete and accepted by the department, they'll go into what the department calls an on-shelf status. Then what can happen, and what probably will happen, is other projects that are programmed for current fiscal years, whether it's 20, 21, 22, will also slide because they're not ready. The plans aren't ready. DOT still has to spend that money. So if our project is ready to go, they'll slide somebody else back through a TIP amendment. That's the Transportation Improvement Program. And they'll slide our project in. So there's a very real chance that we won't have to wait till 2024 to build this project. But the key for us now and in the immediate is to get the plans finished. So where we are with that, our consultant continues to work. We've got through a number of hurdles. The local environmental stuff, meaning state, and the state historic stuff, we've passed those hurdles. What they're currently working on is the NEPA document, and that's the National Environmental Policy Act. And it's a gigantic undertaking. It goes to the feds to review and approve. Once we get our NEPA approval, then DOT will give us permission to go into final design, presuming there's nothing that comes out of the NEPA process that closes the project down, which we do not anticipate. So once we move into final design, we expect the design to be done, late this fall, into December timeframe. So the project will be ready for bidding this December is what we expect. If other projects slide, there is still a chance we could construct next year. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. We had a meeting last week or the week before with our consultant here at Town Hall, and Nelson was kind enough to join us, so he got a sneak peek at the plans. I'm really happy with the way the plan looks, and I think you guys will be too.
Okay.
And I guess that's the update I have.
Okay, well, that's a pretty good update. Let's see what anyone has to offer on that. Any questions or comments? It shows some progress anyway, and I don't know.
I guess real quick, I would just add, from the work you
Yeah.
folks have done, some of the goals that came out of the committee were the path of the sidewalk wanted to run through the sluiceway. The project does that.
Yeah,
They wanted to maintain the historic character of the remains of the mechanical parts adjacent to the fire department. The project does that.
yeah,
So there's a lot of really good parts to this. And basically what the project will do is it will connect the sidewalk that was done under the TE program a number of years ago when we constructed that sidewalk. I think it was 2012,
yeah,
13 timeframe.
yeah.
So it'll connect from that sidewalk all the way over by the fire station, and then across the old impoundment where the water used to be before the dam was removed, and it'll terminate at the woods on the other side where the path picks up from the existing trails on the other side that lead eventually up to West Chamberlain Road.
Yeah.
And to the high school.
Okay, well, thank you, Carl. That's good news. I think we're happy to see it move along. Disappointed it won't be built this year, but whenever it happens, we're ready. Okay?
So just a question on that,
Yeah.
Kyle. I think it's great what you just described, and it achieves pretty much all our objectives to get from one side of the road to the next side and all that. Will it have once you get from Watson Park over to the fire station, will it have a way to get up, like if you wanted to walk towards Buckley's or something like that? Will it have like a leg that allows you to?
Not from the path itself. If you wanted to get to Buckley's or up Woodbury Street or anywhere on the surface areas, you would have to do that from Watson Park.
I'm just thinking
and
like
then-
the safety of, like
Right.
if I'm at Watson Park and I want a safe access to get across the road, so it's beautiful, I go underneath
Yeah,
the
and-
bridge
and-
and then I can go up a path that allows me to walk to
We-
Buckley's or anywhere else I want to walk on that side of the road.
Right. The current plan does not. Although we can look at that. I'm not sure it's possible. One of the things that's driving cost on the project is because of the grade change between the sluiceway and the surface of the fire department. We actually have to build a retaining wall. So I think that's gonna restrict any ability to get up there, but we can definitely have our consultant look into it and see if there is a possibility.
Because I'm just thinking like aloud here, if we build this and it achieves the objective of the trail and so forth, we still have to deal with how people can get safely across the road. I guess they can get safely across the road if they walk up to the traffic light by CVS.
That's correct.
Well, that's a good point, Bill. I'm glad you brought it up because I know we brought that up way at the beginning when we were first talking about this. When we had the one public hearing, we mentioned it there, and I know I had the complete agreement and approval from the fire chief at that time. Currier agreed that would be a good idea to have an access to the fire area, and then from there you'd have to walk across no man's land, the fire department's entrances and the Abbott's Market entrances there. There was no real sidewalk, but we thought that it would be good to have that safe crosswalk as a byproduct of this. So we might ask about it, Kyle. I don't want to jeopardize it, but
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
is it if you're gonna build a retaining wall, is it possible to put stairs in there, or do we get into issues with ADA and all that? I mean, could you build like a staircase into the retaining wall?
We can ask the question.
okay, thanks. That would be a good addition to
Okay.
this.
If I
Finley.
might, I was envisioning stairs, forgetting about ADA. Is the plan showing a ramp?
So through the process, one of the things that as you guys know, the project cost is far exceeds what the original grant was for. And part of that driver was, we submitted the grant back in 2014 as a pedestrian path. When it got to DOT told us it had to meet ADA requirements. And you recall the original grant called for doing a stone dust path all the way up to the pedestrian bridge by the Merrill's Marauders Bridge.
Yeah.
The ADA complexity made that impossible due to cost. And that's why it got scaled back. And they wanted it to be 8 to 10 feet wide.
Right.
through the process, we were able to convince them that, no, this isn't meant for that kind of use. It's scaled back to a 5-foot path, and it does not need to meet the strict ADA requirements anymore because it's called a path rather than a sidewalk or, I forget what other phrase they use, but it's called a pathway now, which alleviates us from some of the ADA requirements.
Okay, any other questions or comments for Kyle? We'll get a look at that at the end of the meeting. And thank you, Carl. Thank you for the update. And I think it's good that everybody knows where we are, even though we wish we were further along. Thanks. Our next item on the agenda is to talk about the town budget for 2021. And as far as I know, or at least last I knew, there was still money in the budget for 2021 to construct the Woodbury Street sidewalk. And that's in the plan right now, and hopefully we'll start the end of the summer.
We're gonna be having another conversation on it, because all of a sudden, during the budget process, the $200,000 is in the budget.
Yeah.
But there was question of what would the best use would be, because there were 5 projects, as I recall, Kyle presented at one point, and all of a sudden, some people were thinking that other projects were more worthy, but just in a quick bite, because I knew we were gonna be going back to it, I had suggested that the school traffic was really the biggest driver of dealing with that first, and I'm still with that, and I think I can persuade enough people to be on board, but I'm not sure yet. You never can figure that out. It's like herding cats. But so it is, the $200,000 is in the budget. We just have to, there has to be a decision on what project will be taken care of.
Well, thank you. Anyway, please stay on top of that for us. I have talked to a couple of the council members who were more in favor of doing something else with the money, and I think I have convinced them the importance of Woodbury Street because of the school, and and the ease of doing it, frankly, without a lot of easements and things. We own a lot, we or the school district own a lot of the property. So, while it's not 100% done deal, we're looking at it.
Nelson, if you
Yeah.
could be sure, and I suspect you will, but if you could be sure to be at that meeting, I think it would have a much greater chance.
Could you tell me when that meeting is?
Yeah, it's not scheduled yet.
not scheduled yet.
It's
Okay.
because the money's there. It's not a real critical thing to deal with right now, but I will make sure I let you know.
Let me know, please. I'll be glad to come. To that end, I should mention that in the midst of all of this turmoil and whether the town would participate or not, Kyle was asked to write a memo to Eileen Cabanel in which she asked him for 5 projects, hopefully that would be continuing future years of about $100,000 each.
200.
$200,000 each. And Kyle put together that list, and he put Woodbury Street, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but that was the one that we had on the list last. It was first, and so he put Woodbury Street as his recommendation for the first one, which is what we're talking about for 2021. And that project now is the one Finley and I are talking about. It isn't frozen, but it's gelling. And the other projects that he mentioned were the Twin Bridge Road, which would connect Route 3 down through, it would go along Twin Bridge Road and connect to the Commons sidewalks through there, and then back up Front Street. That's correct?
Yeah, in addition, it would go a little beyond the commons,
Yeah.
down to where the trail entrance is to take you on the backside of Twin Bridge Park.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, and then the third one he recommended was the DW Highway at the Chamberlain Bridge to Railroad Avenue. So that brings it up through Fraser Square, and that piece of sidewalk. And then East Chamberlain Road to Wright Avenue, this goes south. This particular one seems to be popular with the town council, and I'll just mention that was his fourth. And the fifth is Babusick Lake Road from the library to O'Gara Drive, which is one that was on our high list earlier.
East Chamberlain to Wright Avenue?
Yes,
Why is that so popular?
the town, there's a recommendation from the town council to do that there. I don't have a good answer for you.
If I recall the discussion, I think a lot of it had to do with connecting bits of sidewalks that we have
Yeah.
on Route 3. Because during our retreat, that conversation had
Yeah.
a little time.
Yeah.
And, you know, so they were not really in favor of extending sidewalks in areas that just weren't practical, even though in a perfect world would be a great idea. But they thought filling in spots would be
Yeah.
a good thing. And I honestly, I'm not recalling 100% specifically, but I think that's what it was for that
Okay.
section.
What I'll say about this is that's 4 years from now, and there'll probably be an opportunity to change these priorities as we go along. I think I would expect we'd be asked next year, what do we want to do next?
Because this could change. I mean,
Yeah,
you
so
never
they
know who
could
might
change.
be on the
I
council
will
and they
distribute
could
this
decide not to
memo
fund it.
to the council, to the committee. This is dated November 18th, and I thought you had copies, but maybe not. And if not, I will get a copy to you as something to think about between now and this would be in 2023 or something like that.
I mean, as
Yeah.
much as
Yeah.
it would be nice to connect dots that have been created around town, I personally just don't see that one as where
Yep.
there's a lot of activity.
It's not in the town center, by the way. It's not in the town center plan.
Yeah.
And that's what I was gonna add. So part of the task, when Eileen gave me the task to put this list together,
Yeah,
the guideline I was given was focus on the town center plan,
yeah,
which is, I think, 3 or 4 out of the 5 projects
right,
are directly from the 2009 ITRAC
Yeah.
plan. And the 5th one came out of the council retreat. And I think the idea is to, again, the connectivity on Daniel Webster, it gets sidewalk much closer down to the new 360 Plaza.
yeah,
And the thought there is why that one's fairly important. Certainly, this is nothing that's set in stone.
yeah,
As Finley just mentioned, we haven't even settled on project 1 yet, so there's a lot of work to do, and these aren't even, in concept form yet, so.
yeah, yeah.
It's just a rough ballpark estimate on these. There's a lot more work that will need to be involved before an actual
Yeah,
plan takes
yeah.
place.
And there are some other critical areas beside, that maybe ought to come before the connection even to the O'Gara Drive is going up Route 3, and we want to be able to connect into those bridges and/or Route 3 reconfiguration. I think one of our ideal goals would be to get across Babusick Brook safely. That's a real issue, and it's waiting on the Babusick Brook Bridge.
Right.
And
That will happen with the bridge project.
So it definitely will happen with the bridge project. So whenever that comes, we'll maybe make some rearrangement of these priorities.
We also have a
Awesome.
project in the 10-year plan for the Wire Road, Dana Webster intersection,
Yes,
which would include sidewalks there as well. So that's why, as important as that area is,
yeah,
both of those projects will include sidewalks.
yeah,
So I did not include them in my memo.
yeah, yeah,
I'm not gonna bite my tongue any longer, but I gotta throw this one out. If we're talking about connecting dots around town, Continental Boulevard, we have 7,000 plus employees come there every day. And, you got that Monahan project that's gonna be near the outlets, at the bottom of the outlets. You got people riding bikes, walking. I mean, go there on a sunny July day, there's a lot of activity. People are walking around Camp Sargent and that whole area, and we've got places where there's sidewalks and no sidewalks and so forth. So if we're gonna look at the big picture around town, we need to think about, I mean, that's a big part of our tax base when you talk about Fidelity and I don't even know the name of the company, they've changed it, Getting or whatever it's called, and other companies in the area. I mean, they pay a lot of taxes in town, and they should get some benefit out of it, I would think.
Well, sure, but we went from absolutely no money for sidewalks to $200,000 a year, and everybody was embracing over the next 5 years. Again, that could change with the different members on a council. You never know if that will continue on, but that's, of the people who are there right now, it was kind of fully embraced, I believe unanimously. And so, there's just so much money, and I think the focus for most of these projects, for 3 out of them for sure, I think they're very worthy, and I'm hoping that O'Gara will be the first one, because I think, in my mind, that's the most critical one,
Yeah.
because of the type of pedestrian traffic and so on.
I mean, having a network in the town center is kind of our number
That's
one
our charter,
objective.
and that's why Continental Boulevard doesn't make our radar.
I just don't want to not mention Continental Boulevard because
Okay.
it becomes an orphan,
I know.
and it's a
Yeah.
big part of our tax base.
Yeah,
And we should be conscious of that because it is competitive in the business world. You know, some of the amenities is to have walkability, bike riding capabilities and running and all that sort of stuff. And that's one of the big things that companies want, a benefit that the companies want to be able to give to their employees. So we shouldn't, you know, treat it like an orphan.
well, we don't treat it like an orphan, but it's not our kid. I mean.
I know, but I know, but when they talk about connecting from Wright Avenue,
That was awesome.
you know, that connection doesn't seem all that exciting,
Yeah,
so.
okay, thanks, I appreciate the comment. And I think maybe at some point, we will convince the powers that be to do a look at the whole town. As we've looked at the town center, to look at the whole town. There are some other gaps in town that are very significant. One of them being Babusick Lake Road to the Madeline Bennett. That connection is important. The ones you mentioned there, there's some in the south end of town that just need a small piece of sidewalk to make a complete loop and that sort of thing. So there's more to be done. You're right. Yeah. Okay, any other questions or comments on that? That's the budget issue for this year. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was the school district budget for 2021. Matt, there's been some changes there, and I think we talked about them last time, but any update on that as to what's going on with the O'Gara Drive piece?
Well, right now, we're gonna have a budget committee public hearing, because we still have a budget committee. That's gonna be on the 18th, which is next Tuesday, and then our deliberative session is gonna be on on March 3rd. We do have, as a warrant article, that's been approved by the school board, it has to go in front of the budget committee, and I have it in front of me, I might as well just read it and get it out there. To raise and appropriate a certain sum, $82,500, for the purpose of hiring an engineer to collaborate with the public in open community forums designed to develop a master plan study to include a series of options for the use of Merrimack High School property and school district property along O'Gara Drive, which we talked about. You know, there will at some point in time, if funding ever becomes available, a sidewalk along O'Gara Drive, focusing on optimizing student and staff parking. That's something we want to look at, redoing the parking reconfiguration of it, promoting citizen safety. You don't want to be walking around there when the high school kids get out, so you need to stay away. So we'd like to, you know, do something to promote citizen safety. Considering placement of office space, that talks to the central office project that we've been talking about for 20 years now, and probably will continue to talk about it for 20 years, but that will be looked at as part of this plan. Where is the best spot for that to be, considering all the other goals of this project, which would be staff parking, student parking, traffic safety, parent drop-off and pickup in the high school area. It's abysmal. It really is a hazard. So we want to look at that, improve traffic flow, optimize field space. We have that acre of land that was gifted to us by the town 10 years ago, I believe. That is at the end of the high school parking lot right next to one of our fields, that perhaps we could use for a building or for additional field space or for something else. And then, this whole plan would be a community-driven, comprehensive plan for the reconfiguration, redesign of the site. And that's going to include, improved lighting, pedestrian walkways, everything like that, because we have heard and we have listened that the lighting in that parking lot is not the best. And so we need to do something with that. The pathway for people who are walking in that area, obviously we've known about O'Gara Drive for a long time, and to connect a sidewalk up all the way around from Babusick Lake Road. That's something that's going to be obviously considered and incorporated in a plan, but we need to look at everything as a whole and kind of unify everything. And this is just the study. This isn't to do anything. So I would, given the tone and tenor of budget discussions this year with the school district, I would be a little bit presumptive to say that we would have the money to do anything in 21-22, but it is in the capital improvement plan. Whether or not it gets funded, who knows? It's up to the voters. And it's up to the voters who would fund this study, so that may or may not happen, but that's what we're trying to do. So that's where we are as far as our budget goes right now.
Okay, well, Matt, I'm a little confused. I thought the O'Gara Drive sidewalk, as I call it, was part of an O'Gara Drive repaving project, and that was out for this coming year. It was not.
That
in
is
the budget.
out for 2021.
2021, yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. I apologize.
okay, that is out,
It was out for 2021, yes.
but it's still in for future years?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
It is definitely part of a plan,
Yeah,
but now it's going to be part of this general
new plan, yeah.
Because who knows what's going to happen with the highway? Who knows what we're going to do with parking, the guardrail that's there, everything like that. We may take the area where the tennis courts used to be, make that parking. That may be an area where a central office might be. No idea. So we want to look at everything all together. So once we put all the pieces together, it makes sense and it flows a lot better. Because when you look at the history of this school district, the high school alone has seen 6 additions. Mastercola Upper Elementary School and Mastercola Elementary School has seen 6 additions also. So we're like a patchwork quilt where we had an expansive population, we put an addition. And as a result, we've kind of landlocked ourselves all over the place to limit the area that we have to work with and the options that we have. So we want to get somebody involved. We want to have community input. We want to, have it in front of the school board, and we want to maybe, hold some public forums, and obviously, have Kyle as a resource, because he volunteered. You volunteered, right? No, he didn't. But I'll obviously anything we do, the town and Kyle is a valued resource, so we're not going to do anything without running it past him for his input, and we could steal him away a little bit here and there to to take a peek at what we're up to. We don't want to operate in a vacuum
Mhm.
for certain, so.
But this is a petitioned warrant article that would do
No,
this.
this is a warrant article that is on the, well, it will be on the ballot.
Yeah, but it's a petitioned article.
No,
so-
it's not.
School board driven.
Oh, it's a
School
school
board
board
driven.
driven. Okay, so the
Yes.
school board is behind this. That's, I think you had said initially that it was a petitioned article.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry. I
Well,
must have been
maybe I
thinking about
misheard it,
something
but
else, yeah.
I was a little nervous about that, whether
No.
it was something that the board wasn't completely behind.
No, this was
Yeah.
voted on by the board for 5-0-0. So
Okay.
it's unanimous and it
Yeah.
has the full backing of the board.
And how much money was it?
It's 82,500 for a study. It's a number I got from a well-known community engineer who lives in this town and owns a business, so.
Okay. He's helped us a lot already.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah,
But that's where we're at, and we'll see what
Okay.
happens with the budget for next year. We'll see if this passes. There is a petition warrant article that we received. I think the signatures are being verified to remove the Brentwood building
yeah. You
and
mentioned that, yeah.
raise it and leave it in a state where, you know, everything there is gone. There's appropriate fill brought in, and for the short term to grade it and have it such that it could be used for temporary student parking, because that's always an issue. We want to get kids out of the woods on O'Gara. We want them to not rely on that area anymore, which makes putting in the sidewalk
Yeah.
much easier.
Yeah.
Because you don't want kids in their, you know, trucks climbing up a sidewalk to get to the woods to park. So we've got to give them some relief to get them from stop using that area, and Hadley Street too.
Yeah.
And, you know, that would be kind of, that's the crux behind the petition warrant article.
Yeah.
Is to create some additional temporary space for the high school, while we in turn work with this master plan to see, is that really the best use for the space, or does the parking belong someplace else? But we need
Okay.
to solve that parking
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
the muck and mire over there issue.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Questions for Matt? Questions or comments for Matt? We'll all see what happens after town meeting, huh? April, what is the town meeting?
14.
April 14th,
April 14th.
that would be the vote.
Yeah.
Deliberative session will be interested. All those who want to come and see that, they're invited to participate. That should be an interesting and exhilarating conversation that we have.
When
that
is
time.
that scheduled? Right?
That's March 3rd,
March 3rd?
yeah,
Okay.
at the usual location.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Next comment, additions on the town website. Bill Cummings. What's new there, Bill?
Hi. Well, what would you like to add?
That's what I was asking you.
Well, what ideas would we like to put forth? I just had a conversation with Nick LaValle. He's ready to do an informational piece, video, if we'd like, and add that to the website. So it's ready to go.
Is it, Bill, and I don't know anything, I'm
Sure.
a novice at best.
Mhm.
Is there any way, like, when something is interesting and it might go on the website or whatever, it could be linked to Instagram? Because I know a lot of people use Instagram now.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people use it for marketing. So if you had a way, hey, something, something changed with the Sauhegan River Trail, and it was something that, some way to pull people into being interested in reading about it.
Mhm.
So you could flash something on Instagram saying, hey, there's an announcement on the Sauhegan River Trail. And then they'd say, okay, well, let me look at the website. I'm just curious, can you do that?
Yeah, there likely is, but I'm not gonna be monitoring that. You know, if somebody wants to do it, wants to monitor the progress of that kind of a thing, that's the thing. It takes an administrator, just
Okay.
like a Facebook page. It takes someone to oversee it and, be the man behind the curtain, if you will.
Right, right.
Yeah. So, but that's a great idea. Great idea. All of this stuff, we need to talk to Eileen Cavanell, the town manager, about, whatever we wanna do, putting something on the website in writing, for example. Any kind of a video, that idea, we can talk to Nicholas, and he's willing to do whatever we want.
Yeah, I
I
guess,
just see these, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead,
I see
no.
these websites, like Rotary Club has a website and
Yeah.
a couple of other organizations I'm affiliated with, but they become like out of sight, out of mind,
Mhm.
black hole. Nobody even thinks of, they don't even think about looking at them. So it's all about marketing, like, condition response.
Yeah.
And, I look at my Instagram and restaurants and so forth come up with promotions and stuff. I'm just thinking, like, if there was any way periodically, like you say, hey, take a look at the town center website. There's some activity going on. You could
Yeah.
trigger somebody to do something, because otherwise I think like the town center website just sits out there in,
Right.
space.
Right. There's nobody calling your attention to it.
Right.
And these days, everything's top of mind, right? And that's where Instagram comes in. Apparently, I don't use it, but I know others that do. But I'm open to suggestion.
But I think I hear what you're saying. You don't want to be the administrator. And you
I have a
need
job.
somebody,
Thank you.
you need somebody who's willing to do whatever the mechanics are
Right.
of putting like an announcement on Instagram or
Yeah.
Twitter or whatever it might be.
I mean, ideally, getting a high school person, maybe a high school student, to do something like this would be great. We've already gotten them to volunteer to do a video, which didn't end up happening because the trail got tabled. So
Right.
we just tabled that as well. So, but we could go back and see if somebody's got some experience with Instagram and can help us out. Again, I think there are steps involved, all of which I don't know in terms of getting things approved and moving forward with something. So that's what I don't know.
well, Bill,
Yes, sir.
originally I thought you were gonna kind of spearhead this for us.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I can, but that's
right.
what I'm saying, is I'm looking for some direction from the committee in terms of what you specifically would like to do. Do you want us to, for example, I know the farmer's market is the only one that has a Facebook page through the Agricultural Commission,
Mhm.
apparently. And, is that something we wanna explore? Again, it's gonna take a volunteer who's going to administer that.
Yeah.
I think you have a
It
great,
will not be me,
Yeah.
sir.
I think you have a great idea, though, if like annually, you could get somebody who's interested in software, computer science in the high school,
Mhm.
and not tax them too much, just like, every other month or something. You look at our website and you look at Instagram or Twitter or whatever it might be,
Mhm.
so that they can, jog people's minds to maybe look at something that's out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. And again, I know, I'm a casual user. I don't know how you do all that stuff.
Finley.
Public
Yeah.
Works has a Facebook page, and do you do that, or do you have somebody else respond on the occasion that you do?
I'm the primary person, but all of our division heads are administrators of the
They
site.
can put stuff in if they,
Yeah, and for us, it's an unbelievable tool to get messages out. You guys are right, nobody looks at the webpage.
Mm-hmm.
no, the
I
town
don't even
website's
know
awkward
No.
at best.
What
I
our,
don't
what
care
our
for it.
website name is, let alone try to find something on it.
Right.
But when we put something out on Facebook, I put out yesterday the public hearing for the roundabout project. And by
Lit
last
up.
night, we had 1,500 people had seen it. In a year, we don't get that many people that look at the website. It's an unbelievable way to get information out, but it does take somebody to manage it.
How much time, the reason I was pointing it out is I was wondering how much time do you think you put in? Because it's not an immediate response, it's when, when you have a chance, you see somebody's post and.
Right, it's sporadic, some weeks, 0, some weeks, 2 to 3 hours. It's not a heavy lift, certainly.
Yeah, but it's timely, because I do the one for the school district. And a lot of times, you're right, you get 1,800 hits on something that's being pushed out to people who have followed you on the website. A couple of times in my zeal to get things out a little bit quick, I've made a couple spelling errors, which people delight in pointing those out to me, and I really don't mind. That's my fault. I'll own it. And
You're a finance guy, not a.
Yeah, right.
yeah, I
English teacher
went
for
to
crying out
Bentley.
loud.
I didn't go to Brandeis and get an English degree. Okay, so anyway, it's. Sometimes it can be challenging, especially when you're trying to do something on the fly, but as far as people paying attention to it, I find out the webpage, it's a static thing. It's a great resource to point people to, but Facebook is definitely something that I agree with Kyle. It's something that people really pay attention to. They live on it.
And I think that's
In
just
the-
it.
in
The
the some way-
webpage is the warehouse
It's the
for,
warehouse.
for the information.
That's
And
a
the
great way to
Facebook
put it.
page is the avenue to get people to the website.
Yeah, you can say, hey, this is
You put the-
available.
Put the website
Link.
link in your Facebook post.
Right,
If people can just hit a link, they're gonna go there.
yes.
If they have to go to the website and try and find the
Yeah, 'cause
information.
you can't find it.
Yeah, you can.
It's hard to do, because the town's website is gigantic. We've got many departments,
Yeah,
and then
And at
divisions
that
within
point in time-
departments, and it's really hard
yeah.
to find, so.
And if you're looking for information on the roundabout, which I've got the drawings and everything like that, that's pretty kind of exciting to kind of have a conversation about. I mean, you as, let's say, person living in town doesn't necessarily know that there is going to be discussion on a roundabout, or if there's even gonna be a roundabout, especially on a webpage that's static, but the Facebook thing notifies them that, hey, this is something you wanna pay attention to, and it does point them there, so you can use that. It just builds awareness, whereas just posting something on the website, you'd have to look at a section if you had it, what's new, and everything would have to be what's new, and you'd have to go there every single day, whereas the Facebook is the vehicle, and you're right, I like the way you phrased it, and the website is the document warehouse, basically.
And this Facebook and Instagram are owned by Facebook.
Right.
And there's some way that if you do put something on Facebook, it can be automatically linked to Instagram.
I haven't tried that
Maybe.
one, I don't know.
I don't have an Instagram account. I don't know anything about Instagram, so
The young-
Facebook is our avenue, but
I
I do,
refuse.
Facebook is for older people anyhow at this
The
point,
younger
so.
generation.
Yeah.
I do
The
recognize
younger
that.
generation are Instagram.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like
you're
my
old
da-
at some
my-
point,
my
we'll
daughter
have to
will say,
conform.
I don't even go on Facebook, Dad.
No.
They go on Instagram.
Or Snapchat, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Snapface.
Yeah,
May I
Karen,
ask, as an
It's
ignorant
not for us, man.
townsperson, where this roundabout is going to be that's being discussed?
Sure, Turkey Hill Road and Babuzik Lake Road.
Gotcha, okay.
yeah.
You
Oh,
have to
that's a good
friend
idea.
or whatever it is, it's Public Works, and then you
Yes.
get that.
Yes, well, I mean, if it's gone out on Facebook, then lots of people must know, but
There's also
I
been a,
don't do Facebook.
there's also
so-
been a press release, and it's on our website.
Well,
which
and
nobody
there
sees.
you go.
Which nobody sees, yeah.
Right.
The way you put it as a warehouse is a perfect description, because even if a link is put right on the homepage of merrimacknh.gov, you can't find it. It's a headache. It's just not good. When I get anything from Public Works, I try and share it, just because now all my Merrimack friends are seeing the same thing. And that's why it just takes off. What, you've had 1,500 or whatever you said.
Yeah, we put out
What's
a
that?
post a couple weeks ago about the status of the Bedford Road Bridge project.
Oh, yeah.
6,500 views.
Hmm.
So,
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and that,
And it
it's a
is
great
largely
way
through
to spread
sharing.
information.
That's really the magic of Facebook, and I don't know about Instagram, but when people share our posts, that's when it really spreads and
Yeah.
a lot of
That's why I
eyeballs
do
get
it
on it.
normally automatically.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna commit myself to it. I'm gonna be like Bill. But I will talk to my daughter and see if it's something I could provoke a little interest for her to do it for us. And I'll let you know, but I don't wanna get tangled up. It's just gonna become a little bit of a headache, so.
Yeah.
Town-wise, we do have a social media policy.
Yep.
That we all follow. So for us, we just have Facebook. I know Community Development has Facebook and Twitter. Merrimack TV has Facebook. I'm not sure. The police department has Facebook, library does, Parks and Rec does. I'm not sure if anyone has Instagram at this point, but I imagine at some point we'll
It might.
have to look into that as well.
Merrimack TV has, you can watch meetings live streaming right there,
Through
and you
Facebook.
can comment. So I
And the-
watched the budget committee last week, and you can see all the crazy stuff that happens, but, you know, the commentary and everything that goes on during the meeting.
And the
Yes.
quality is amazing now.
Yes, yeah, with the high def.
Yep.
And I didn't shave again, so it's, don't come close.
Yeah, don't you hate that?
The high def, I'm going, just
I
put a
know.
stationary camera way off, we're all good then.
So to get back to your
Well,
question, your
yeah.
initial question is, what would you like to do? What would you want people to know? Shall we find someone who is willing, a student, volunteer maybe, or maybe Finley's daughter, is it daughter?
I will chat with her, yeah. My baby.
To
She's 28.
administer, to
28,
set up a
yeah.
Facebook page?
Well, it sounds like something that's worth doing.
Yeah.
I am out of the picture because I do have a Facebook page of my own, but I
Uh-huh.
don't know how to get to anybody else's Facebook page, and I don't really know how to use the thing. I get messages and
Yep.
they're interesting, but I don't know how to really work the system, and so I'm ignorant and I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So, but I think we need to do something. I think the world has gone there and
Yeah.
left me behind, and I got to find a way to catch
I don't
up.
think it would be, I mean, at least, I don't think there'd be that much to post in a year. But if there was 3 or 4 items in a year,
Yeah,
and we're really trying to reach out to people, I don't think we're gonna do it through the website.
You're right, you're completely.
So it's not like this person, and I don't wanna take on the job either. But it's not like this person's gonna be every night saying, oh, geez, I gotta do something for that town center committee.
yeah.
It's gonna be
No.
once a quarter maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, we do- we only meet once a month, and even then sometimes we don't have that much new on the page. So, but it would be good to get our voice out there. I think our committee voice out there.
I'll do that, I'll let you know next month what she
Okay,
says.
thanks, Finley. That would be a help. And meanwhile,
I never did Facebook, but until about 8 years ago, and a buddy of mine was trying to get in touch with me about a class reunion, and he said, you don't
Yeah.
have Facebook? I'm going, no, I don't have Facebook. So my daughter heard the conversation, she said, I'll do it for you. So she was my Facebook manager. I would say, hey, Sarah, say this, I know them, yes, you can tell them I'll be their friend or whatever, but she did that for me for a couple of years. And
Yeah.
now, the phone, it's easy if I want to put something with my grandkids, which is what I use mine for, quite
Yeah.
frankly.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
well, doesn't everybody have to be a friend to be on Facebook? Don't you have to be a friend of somebody's?
Well,
Depends on
like
if you're
an
open or
entity,
closed.
like if we had the town center committee Facebook page,
yeah,
basically we're inviting people to like it.
yeah.
And once they like it, you're following that, so everything that gets posted to that
Gets sent
website,
to them.
they get a notification.
Yeah, okay. How
Yeah.
does that happen then? They have to initiate the conversation by wanting to be your friend or something.
We invite people.
Invite
we
everybody, invite everybody, but
Yes.
how do we do
Tom,
that? We
Dick,
don't,
Harry,
you
you
send,
name it.
send an email to everybody? I don't understand how
Well,
you do.
I mean, I'm hung up on Instagram, but on Instagram, you put down like your preferences, like Town of Merrimack could be like one of the things that you wanna follow.
Yeah,
So anytime there's anything Town of Merrimack, it's gonna pop up on your Instagram.
yeah,
Or Bill Cummings,
on your
Right,
as a
own,
friend.
that's on your own Facebook page.
No, yeah, on Instagram,
Yeah.
or, you know, so.
you need
It's a great tool.
It's what?
It's a great tool. I think if we can
Yeah.
get something started, it would be, and you don't have to do much. I can't imagine, as Bill was just suggesting, there's much that we will have to do with it. Just post things occasionally to the, just like you did with the Rotary over here, that, just putting that in there, putting the site plan or whatever, the plan, it provoked a lot of commentary and more importantly, provoked a bunch of views. People looked at it. Because it's the same handful of people that comment on it, it seems like, but they've seen it, and that's important.
I bet you if we put something on Facebook that was called the Town Sitter page, and we just said, do you know we have a Town Sitter committee? Take a look at our website, we're doing some exciting things, you'd probably get a lot of hits.
I think,
So who would know how to do that, what you just said?
my daughter,
Yeah, I know. Is there somebody in the town that can guide us?
Well, there's definitely probably a student that could do it,
Well,
so maybe that's the action item. Go back and, I mean, is there a contact that you have at the schools, Bill, for media, or for?
Well, for media, yeah, that was gonna do the video of the Sauhegan Trail last fall, which we had to nix. Yeah,
well, is there somebody there that can help us? If I talk to somebody, who can I talk to find out how to do this?
How about,
I mean,
Well,
I
you
know how to
might-
create, I know how to create a Facebook page,
Yeah, okay,
but
that's
we
a
need, we
start.
need the authority from the town to do it. That's the thing. The only one that I know of, and I didn't know about DPW, but the only one that at least that Becky told me was that the farmer's market had one. That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, Becky ought to know maybe who in the town can do this.
She
Huh?
will. She will,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. We're trying to figure out where we're going. Do we
Yeah.
want Facebook? Do we want Instagram and Facebook?
Well,
It's the scope of the engagement.
what I
is really
heard
what we're
today,
trying to-
what I heard today
Yeah.
was, it sounded like Facebook was the way to go. It sounded like it got more hits, it got a lot of traffic, and it was certainly a way to begin. And if Instagram is more advanced, maybe we'll save that for July's project.
I could connect you with someone at the school district, obviously, but there's a little part of me, and I'm not sure precisely why, that is a little bit hesitant to have a student in charge of a committee belonging to the town. I think,
I understand that.
you know,
I think you're right.
I think it needs to be more of a dedicated town employee that's here to support this committee.
I think you're right. Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Yeah,
Not-
and
it's
the
not that I
students
don't.
gone in June, whatever, or whenever.
I mean, we got some fantastic kids, but,
Yeah.
you know,
but-
I mean, geez, you know, they're busy with finals, they're
They're
busy
going
with
to
sports, they're
college
going to
next year,
college,
yeah,
they're doing everything like that.
Yeah,
And maybe they can't give you the level of care and keeping that you need, and, you know, then it gets passed off to somebody else.
I'd
and
agree with you.
It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a little part of me that says I could just kind of hesitate
Yeah.
on that.
I would suggest you talk to Eileen Nelson,
Yeah,
and I don't think it's a heavy lift.
It isn't,
I
really.
agree.
You may
Yeah.
find that there is somebody in these two buildings that might be able to support it.
yeah. Okay, that's a good suggestion.
we're running over.
I'll talk to.
Yeah, I
Becky.
know, we're running
I'll
over
talk to
time.
Becky, who'll talk to Eileen.
Yeah, that's okay, I will too. At this
No, it's
point.
all right. You don't need to duplicate efforts.
Well,
This is in
Okay, all right.
my.
Just wanted to do one more thing. The annual report is done, and it was sent in, I did send it around, maybe you got it, you'll get it in the town annual report. We still have some vacancies on the town council committee, hoping we'll find some volunteers. I don't want to talk about it right now. The booth for the Winter Carnival is something we need to talk about. Next Saturday, a week from tomorrow, is the annual Winter Carnival at Wasserman Park. Goes from 12 to 3. Historically, for 2 years or 3 years now, we've had a booth there. I have put in for us to have a booth. It involves just bringing the 2 maps out there and having some handouts and talking to people who come through to tell them how great the town center committee is and what good we're doing. Does anybody, I will be there to support that, and I will try and make it happen, but I want to offer the opportunity for anyone else on the committee to come. Historically, the floods have taken care of this, and I don't think we can count on them this year. So if anybody would like to, anybody would like Bill Wilkes.
I think I can.
I just saw his hand go up.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you, Bill.
I'm pretty sure, that's a Saturday, I'm
It's
pretty
a
sure.
Saturday.
I'm pretty sure I
And
could
it
help
goes
you on
noon to
that.
3, so it's not a heavy lift.
Do you have like any kind of display boards, or do
I
we
have
wanna have
dis-
something that Kyle's got, could we put something new up there, like Kyle, we could show the Sauhegan River Trail project, or?
I hadn't thought about that. I was going to use the same old maps. We have the 2 maps. One is a trail map that goes all the way up into Wildcat Falls, and the other is the town center map, which shows the different projects in the town center.
Kyle, could we have
The
like
handouts.
some kind of little sheet of paper that would say plant and put planned across it, or something like that,
I think that's a great idea. I can give you the full-size sheet.
Yeah, just give us one good sheet.
Yeah.
That would.
I think that's a great
yeah,
idea.
Yeah,
It shows the path.
yeah. Okay, that will
Nice.
show progress, certainly, which we've never been able to show before. So thank you, Kyle. I won't hold anybody any longer because I know we've overrun our time here a bit. Thinking ahead, we want to maybe support the farmers market again and maybe the pancake breakfast again on the 4th of July. But those are things we can talk about at our next meeting, which we should set a time and date for so that we all have it in our notebooks as to when we would like to do this fun thing again. And I don't think we have to decide anything before then, but we'll talk about who comes to the February. Historically, we've met on noon on on a Friday, Kyle, and just, I don't know what's good for you. You want to do March sometime or April? If we have anything. Nobody minds?
Whatever's best.
Let's see, the 10th, April 10th is not good. April 3rd?
Yep.
How's April 3rd?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
we have a second to that motion,
Second.
seconded by Bill Cummings. Discussion of the motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining? None. All were in favor, the motion is adjourned. The meeting is adjourned. The motion to adjourn is approved.